Hey everyone, GGinspire here to go live and inspire another day. Hi Instagram, hi Facebook. I've got one of my good friends here, Jessica Kobrin. She's one of these people that I just admire because she's just amazing. She's a good friend, and she and her husband Russ have been good friends with Jason and I for years and years and years, and confidants, and I consider her, like, her and her husband, just incredible associations of ours, and we're just so grateful for them. And I'm honored that she was able to go live with us today and share some of her thoughts. And we're going to talk about the power of associations, but she's amazing, so thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you today, and I'm excited about our topic that we're going to cover because I think it's really important. So
definitely. So we're going to have some fun. We got a lot of questions. I don't know what I did with them. But we're gonna share some with you. Hi Angie, hi Susie, hey Russ, Jason, Joel, Jen, Brian, how are you? What's up? Entrepreneurs Unite, and Jessica and Russ are fellow entrepreneurs with us. Work very closely with us. Oh, I see Carla's on too. So really excited about this. This is a big deal. So we're gonna jump right in. But I do want you to maybe share a little bit of your story, like how you kind of came to be in business with your husband, and just a little bit on that, you know, maybe a minute or two.
Sure, of course. So I started very young, and I have 4 beautiful children, and my husband and I, in 2008, I lost my job, and we had 3 children at the time, and we kind of, our whole life fell apart at that time, and because I started so young, I didn't complete schooling, and in 2008, nobody was really looking for, you know, no one was hiring anyway, and I didn't have a degree, so I kind of landed into it. It was kind of, you know, Ed Milet, the good mentor of ours, always talks about how, you know, things happen for you and not to you, but sometimes you can't see that when you're in the midst of everything falling apart. And that kind of led us on the journey of entrepreneurship and going into business for ourselves. And then a year later, my husband Russ lost his job, and I was like, you know, we should build something together, and come work with me, and let's do this. And that's kind of like how we got started into this world of entrepreneurship, which is completely life-changing and exciting. So
yeah, it's awesome. You kind of just stumble into it. And I would definitely tell you, if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about entrepreneurship, starting your own business, or finding a way out of the rat race, definitely follow Ed Milet. He's got some incredible podcasts. I mean, our events this year are going to be amazing. He's got Tim Story. He's got Marshall Falk, who actually is an agent with our firm, who just started with us about a year ago, creating huge waves. Kevin Harrington, like all these incredible people that have made such a splash in the entrepreneurial world, and even the sports world, entertainment world. And so this is an opportunity to really be able to understand and get better by associating yourself with those people, right? So today's the power of association. So get those people in your ears versus some of the other people that are around you. So let's dive in, and please, you know, make this interactive. If you have questions, please let us know. I know Brian is totally an entrepreneur and wants to get out there. So I will share a couple of questions if I can, just kind of start. And let's see, we'll go from there. I don't have them memorized, so. So Jessica, so associations are very powerful, right? The people that you surround yourself with, they make an impact on you, right?
Absolutely.
So who should you look for in associations? Like, what would you recommend to other people out there?
So associations have such a huge impact in our life, and I think sometimes we don't recognize the impact they do, but they impact your attitude, they influence your determination, your beliefs, your inspiration, and overall, like, the big one is your outcome and your success, you know. I am following Tim's story right now, and he says, you know, you can have a great plan and you could be the right person, but if you don't have the right partners, then your plan won't work out. And it's so powerful.
Definitely.
And I believe that 1,000%. You know, as I said, I started very young, and my peers didn't have children, so I had to seek people. I didn't know, I know it's going to sound crazy, but I know most mothers will relate to me on this. I didn't know how to be a mother.
Yeah.
You know, my mom
it's
not just something that you just get, you know. It's like, what do you do? How do you teach them? And how do you know, do those things? So, you know, a lot of my friends were 10 or 15 years older than me growing up.
Yeah.
Because that was who, you know, because I started so young, they were making different decisions. So I had to associate with people that were, you know, being parents and making good decisions. And I was so blessed to be, you know, have these incredible people in my life that kind of showed me the way and guided me. But the things that you're looking for is, what do you want? You know, what is the life ultimately that you want? And look for people that have achieved those things and then go, you know, and associate with them, you know, ask them for help, ask them how they got to where they are. That's the greatest way is, if you want something, you look for somebody that's achieved it and then ask them what they did to achieve it and do those things, and you're going to achieve those things too. So I think that that's probably the basic.
Yeah,
you know,
look for who has what you want, whether it's in business or a great family life, great faith, like whatever it is that you want to be able to have in your life, go after it. Find the people that have it, and, you know, try and take a slice of what they're doing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that'll make a big difference. I know you wanted to ask.
I wanted to ask you too. So
this is so fun. I love this.
I wanted to ask. I'm really excited. Thank you so much for having me here. This is so fun. Thank you all for joining us and spending some time with us this afternoon. We appreciate it. So I wanted to ask you, like, who do you spend most of your time with, and who do you listen to? Right?
Okay. So, you know, obviously I have like my family, right? I have my husband who lifts me up in a lot of ways, and I also lift him up in a lot of ways. And we need to be powerful associations for each other. So if you're married, or you're in a committed relationship and you have that person is around you a lot, you need to make sure that you're lifting each other up, and they're somebody who appreciates you for the best of you, right? And continues to make you more positive. So my spouse, obviously, my kids, and so, you know, they always make me happy and smile and feel grateful and not take life so seriously. So that's a huge association. But I have my mom, who I'm really close to. She's actually next door. And she's like one of the most positive people I've ever met. Like, it's amazing. Like, when I was 16 or 17 and she was like all sunny and happy all the time, it used to really irritate me, especially in the morning. But now I'm like, oh wow, it's just amazing how great she is. So I have the people that I work with closely, and I probably am closer to the people that are of the same mindset, that are of like mind as me, and are kind of in alignment with us. But then the other thing that I like to be able to do is, when I'm not in a good mindset, I want to associate. I don't want to dump on the people around me. I don't want to share with them all of my negative crap, because we all have it. But so I listen to things like The Secret, or I watch things like The Secret, or I read books, or I watch the podcast with Ed Milet. And even sometimes I listen to that stuff when I'm going to bed, because those are my associations too. I may not be able to call them, or I can probably, you know, message them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but I like to associate myself with those people because they take me out of where I'm at. And again, like Jessica was just saying, like, they have something that I want, and I want to be able to create it. And so the more that I can get in their mindset and start to influence myself more, that's how I, you know, change my associations and spend more time with the people who have what I want.
Oh, I love that. And that's so great too for some of the people that don't, maybe you don't have those people in your life directly right away. You know, you can find them, and with technology today, it's so incredible, because you can listen to them and get a taste of their mindset and how they view things and their perspective and how they see things. Like, I was actually talking to some people yesterday. I was saying, every morning I actually listen to either Ed Milet or some kind of podcast that sets the tone for my day.
Definitely.
Right. And I always hear over and over, like, successful people don't like look at their phone or their emails or things like that the first hour of their day, because they don't want to set their tone with whatever energy they're getting from whatever messages they receive or whatnot. So I've been doing that as well, like kind of doing that, to use that to set the tone and the energy of my day so that I can have a positive day. And those little things that come up afterwards don't bother me as much, right?
Because you set the path.
You set the path.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I love that. That's so great. And we have access to it.
Definitely. So actually, I kind of answered this question already, like, what's the best way to change your associations? But, you know, you may deal with people that are not necessarily kind of lifting you up in some ways. And there's only so much that you can do about those situations. But how do you, I guess we kind of already covered it, like, how do you improve your associations and step up to the next level? Again, it's getting around those people that are going to support you and support your beliefs. You know, I wrote some notes that I wanted to go over because I thought they were so important, right?
I believe that there's good pressure and bad pressure, right? And we always hear about it, like in high school or junior high, it's like there's peer pressure, right? And we always associate it with bad. But I also have found, like when I meet certain people, that they have this uncomfortable feeling being around super successful people because it pushes them to want to be their better self, right? Yeah. And so rather than being uncomfortable, it kind of pushes them out of their comfort zone. Yeah. And that's good pressure, right? You have peer pressure that leads you into bad things, like those, you know, it's okay. One bite's not going to kill you of the, you know, the cheesecake.
But I'm dieting.
You know,
I'm trying to be good.
Right.
I'm trying to be
one bite's not going to kill you, right? Like there's bad peer pressure that leads you off your path of your goals, but there's also good pressure when you're around people that are, you know, high identity or achieving those goals and have great discipline and doing the things that you want to do. But it makes you a little uncomfortable, right? That's good pressure. Yeah. It's pushing you out of your comfort zone to be a better version of you, right? Yeah. And the greatest version of you.
Absolutely.
And that's good pressure, and you want that around you. You want those people that are going to elevate you and make you feel inside that you want to be better, right? Yeah. Not just stay where you're at, but like, you know what? I want to eat healthy when I'm around Gillian because she's so healthy, right? Like I'm going to look at it. That's good pressure. You know what I mean? Like those types of things. Or, you know, I want to get up early and exercise, or I want to get up and make a ton of phone calls today because like she's putting, you know, she's making me, she's putting me to shame, I guess. It's like, it's like, wow, she's doing all these things, and it inspires you. Allow those things to inspire you to be better and to push yourself to the next level. You know what I mean? I also think that there's sometimes like people get intimidated, but allow that to you know, to kind of give that space. Yeah. You know,
I have some people in my life that, you know, like Angie, who's on here. I know I saw you. Angie is somebody who's always, she's very, very disciplined, and she and I just got a trainer, and so now we're like making sure to like keep each other accountable, and it's really good because when I'm like, oh, I want to cheat, she's like, no, we have goals, like we have plans, you know, so it's good to keep accountable. The other thing is that when I was in college, like I was a super studier, like I couldn't even go to the movies because I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 2 hours, and like there's no way. But my roommate was not like that. She was like, you know, not as disciplined and whatever. And so after living with me for 4 years, she became a lot more studious, and she became somebody who was a lot more focused on school. So it's good to be able to, you have that little discomfort, because if she was hanging around like watching TV and I was like hitting the books, eventually she was like, I should probably be hitting the books too. Like I should be working harder. So it's a good thing. And when you surround yourself with people that pressure you and lift you up in the right way, hey Gwen, when they pressure you in the right way, like appreciate it and take that step up, because that's what the goal is to step up so you can have a great life. That's why we even do this, to inspire you for a better life.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. First, I want to touch on that really fast, because first it's about getting yourself to that level of discipline, and then it's about inspiring others to help them get to where, you know, to live in that space too.
Definitely, because that's a huge thing about when you're going out there to do something great, you want to be able to do it for yourself and then lead others that way too, so we can all enjoy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so for someone that's new, maybe that doesn't have very much experience in business, and can bring little to the table, how do they associate themselves with the pros? Like, how would they go about making that happen?
I would start with, it's going to sound so simple, guys. I would start with ask. You know, just ask. I know.
That's the question.
You know, you can't get, I always teach my kids, like, you don't get what you don't ask for, you know, and the worst case scenario is that you're in the same exact spot as you are right now, right?
And especially with 4 kids. Like, you don't speak up, like, it's not happening.
Yeah, like, people are not mind readers, you know, and most people want to help. You know, they actually want to help you, and they want to share the, you know, their wisdom with you and their path and their journey of how they got there. They want to share it with you, but they, you know, we're always told and we're always taught, like, mentors don't you know, they don't seek out mentees. Mentees search mentors, right? They don't know you're looking for them, you know, unless you tell them. So it's like you see that person and you go, gosh, that's so inspiring me. That's the type of life I want. They have the family life I want. They have the business life I want. They have the marriage I want. You know, and you see those things in somebody, then, you know, ask them, reach out to them and ask them questions about what they're doing and how did they achieve that? And was it always that way? what challenges did they have to go through to get there, right? Like most of them, you see a finished product, but you need to know what did it take to fine tune that and get there, you know? But ask, I would say, you know, don't be afraid. You know, you have to be convicted. You have to go for what you want in life. Like it's never going to just land in your lap. For anything I've ever wanted, I've always had to chase after it and make it happen. So it's the same thing with this. I feel like, you know, ask, reach out, and go after what it is that you want. And
absolutely. You have to take the initiative and really make it happen. Like, in this life, you don't, like, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So if you don't like put your head up, like I've been to a lot of events over the years, and I've seen all those people, and I've been like, oh my gosh, they're so successful, they're this, oh, they wouldn't help me, or they wouldn't answer my questions or whatever. Like, oh, what do I even say to them? Oh my gosh, I don't even know. They're like stars in your eyes, right? But for me, at a certain point, like, no, they put their pants on one leg at a time. And there was a time that they were just like me, not sure, not knowing what to say or what to do or what the next step is. So this is a big deal to be able to get yourself out there. And it's a step in growth to be able to go and ask those people for help. And what did you do? And what challenges did you have? And those kinds of things. It'll make a big difference in your mindset. And that's what you're trying to do, is grow to be better, right?
Absolutely.
So I know you think you had one question for me.
I do.
Go ahead.
I know that. I'm going to ask, because I think people have this challenge all the time because it's the people that we spend the most time with. But how would you describe the power of association when it comes to family? And like, you are the average, like we always say, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. So obviously, most of the time, family are those people. Like, how would you say, how would you describe it?
So I'm going to tread lightly on this one, but I'll tell you this. Here's the deal. I've worked very hard over the years, and my husband and I, have worked very hard over the years to keep our relationship very solid and keep those associations positive between us, because anybody who knows him and who knows us knows that he's not always positive, and neither am I. So we have to work at that. And if you're, spending a lot of time with somebody who's negative, if they're in your family, it's not like you can boot them out and just like block them and never talk to them again, right? It doesn't work that way. But sometimes you have to limit the amount of time that you spend with them, or maybe even the conversations or topics that you're discussing. And he's going to be mad at me for this, but so if like years ago, probably like 7 years ago, when we were still struggling in business, mind you, we came into business in 2007 and we work in the financial industry, and nobody really wanted to hear anything about that in 08, 09, even 10, right? So I used to come home and say, oh, this happened. And he was like, oh, I bet it's not. He would say something negative, and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to stop talking to you about this topic. And so for like 2 years, I didn't talk to him about the business because it was a real struggle. But at the same time, I knew eventually we would get to the point where we could talk about it again and he would be positive. But sometimes, like I said, you have to limit your exposure. I mean, it's not like I could not see him, but I had to stop talking about that topic. He loves to talk about basketball, so we would talk about basketball, or we'd, talk about other personal growth things or things like that. We didn't have kids at the time. We didn't yet. So, I think that's a big part of it. But sometimes, I've had to kind of distance myself from like a family that's maybe a little bit further away. Maybe they didn't live close to us or what have you. And I just didn't talk to them as much. That's painful. And even some of my close friends that I almost would consider family, it's painful, but at a certain point you have to realize, like, they're not going to make sure that your kids are taken care of. They're not going to make sure that your bills are paid. They're not going to make sure your mortgage payment is on time. They're not going to make sure that, you and your family and your generations have a great life. If they're going to do that, then definitely pay attention to what they're saying. But those people should be open to hear what's going on with you and why this is so important to you. It's not it's not that you're just going out there. Like, my husband and I had a very, detailed talk one day, and it was more like, he's like, why are you always out running around a business? And, we're supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that. And I was like, hey, I'm not doing this like because I'm just greedy and I just want to have like lots of money. I'm doing this for us, like for you, for your mom, for our family. So you have to remember, like, this is not just about me, right? It's about all these other people. And we don't do these videos just because I love to hear myself talk, right? Or Jessica likes to hear herself talk. It's more because this may inspire somebody else. So if you see this and you're like, this is really good, share it. Yeah. Post it. Send it out public, whatever. Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so here's last one, and I hope if you guys have any questions, let me know. Jason's commenting. Yeah, I know. We've had that, we've only had that one big talk. He used to say we never argued until we started working together in business, but I think it's just because you have different ways of doing things, and you have to eventually get each other to see the other side, right? And so sometimes that takes time.
Yeah.
Okay, so once I started moving in the direction of my goals and later went around my old associations, I had nothing to say, nothing to contribute, and dreaded being there. Is that normal? So how is that? Because I know that I've had some of those experiences. I just kind of mentioned it. So have you had some?
I have had those experiences where it's there's a level of disconnect, I guess I'll probably use that word, disconnect. It is, especially if it's, you're fighting for something and you're going after, your big dream or your, whatever that is, or you want to make a move and you want to make a difference in the world. Like it's for people that are not doing it, there's a huge separation, and that you can't really connect as much, and it's like, all I can say is that maybe through your actions and being an example, you can inspire them in that way, but you also don't want to stay there too long, because it ends up, what's the saying, like something in motion stays in motion.
Inertia.
Yeah.
Inertia.
Yes. Thank you.
Leave it to me for the nerd word.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Normally, my husband's there for me to fill in the things for me. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Nerd alert. Yeah.
And so that's the thing is, if you slow down to meet their pace, then you'll stay there, right? And it goes, you are the average of the 5 people. So it's not definitely disconnect. Like you want to help as much as you can, but you have to stay focused on what it is that you're going for ultimately. Like that's the I hope that
it totally makes sense, because one of our mentors, both of us, Michael Coleman, he talks about, he cares about his friends, of course, like people that he used to associate with and he's good friends with and he loves them, but he feels like sometimes when he would hang out with certain people, he would have to slow down like his speed versus what he normally would be at. And so I felt that way too, wanting to hang out with people, but I felt at a certain point like we kind of grew apart, because I didn't have as much to say, or the things that were really exciting to me or that were going really well in business, it was difficult for me to relate. And so they were kind of like, it was just difficult to have conversations. And I wouldn't say I lost a couple friendships, but I guess you could say that. Like I ended up kind of disconnecting from some people because I couldn't relate to them anymore, And it's not that if they called me up and said, hey, I really need your help, I would be there.
Absolutely.
In a heartbeat. But at the same time, I couldn't necessarily see them on a day-to-day basis and go hang out and have happy hour. One of my friends used to come home at the end of the day and drink a few beers and play video games, and I would just go over and see him, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to go, I have so much to do, so I just couldn't do that anymore. But
absolutely. I think it also, and I wanted to cover this, I had it in my notes, associations, they can enhance the way you think, and they can expand how you see things and stretch your vision. But one of the things it does is it also, some people know that they were born to do something big with their life. Yeah. And they've had dreams since they were little, and they were like, I'm going to be great, and I'm going to go conquer the world, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be whatever it was for them, right? And they have these huge, huge dreams, and those people, the associations around them are like, that's not realistic. You can't do that. You need to go find a real job. You need to do all these things. Yeah. And that's the danger. And what you're saying is sometimes these situations where you haven't hung out with them for a while, and then you come back in those old associations, they can be dream stealers, right? And they can, if you stick around too long, right? I always tell, I talk to my family about positivity all the time. They're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm like, listen, negative is heavier than positive. Yeah. It takes a lot less negativity to pull down positivity, right? Than the other way around. So if you're there too long, it's gonna weigh you down, and then you're gonna give up on all the things, all the aspirations, and all the things that you're going for. Yeah. And most of the time, it's for them. And Mylette talks about that all the time. The biggest dream killers are the ones that we're doing it for. Yeah. Our parents, our brothers and sisters. And it's you have to stay strong during those times when they're telling you, you know, you're not here for me and these things are more important, it's like, no, I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not looking at right now in this moment. Like, these problems are temporary. You guys, like, problems are temporary. They don't stay around forever. Yeah. If you look at anything you've experienced in your life, they're there for a moment, and then you've probably overcome them. But when you were there, you worried so deeply about them. That's why you have to be constantly looking at where you're going, and like you know, yes, you have to deal with the today things, but you also have to keep focus on where you're going so that you keep moving. You know what I mean?
I talk about it all the time. You got to handle today and focus on tomorrow.
Yes.
Like, that's all the time.
Absolutely.
So we have a couple questions that people ask here. So Jewel, as parents, how do you talk to your children about associations? I'm going to let you touch on that because yours are a little older. I mean, we have a betrothed couple between us, but that's a whole other story we'll go into another day.
No, that's really an incredible question. And I think it's so vitally important because you can, you know, I want to cover two things in this. One, as adults, I think that we feel like we're stronger and more powerful, and that the people around us don't affect us that deeply. Like, I think we feel like we're immune to it. But with children, you see it almost instantaneous. Like, you know, I have 4 children, and I always say, like, you can't unring the bell. Once they're around a bad influence, it could be 1 hour. You know? They are with the kid, but, you know, they're with that other person for 1 hour or even 5 minutes, and all of a sudden now you're having to, you know, undo that action, like, or that bad habit, or that. Okay, go on. It's true, right?
It's totally true.
It's so fast and so apparent. You see it so quickly. Why it's like you have to shield them from that. But how I talk to them is, you know, it's also the same. Like, what talk to your kids about their goals and what they want to go for, right? And if it doesn't serve them, you need to let them know it doesn't serve them, and why. Why does that not, like, you know, what are they doing? By the way, I ask my kids a lot of questions. I don't really tell them a lot as much as I say, oh, how does that look to you right now? What that kid is doing right now, what does that look like to you? You know, and do you think that's good really awesome. Or bad? And I let them decide. And then I say, do you think you should do that? And then I ask, what do you think you should be doing? Because then it's so much more powerful because they're making a decision on their own, and I'm not just telling them what to do. Does that make sense?
That's phenomenal.
I hope that answers that question. I don't
so much.
Okay,
yes,
good.
And I'm really
thank you. Terrified. That was an amazing question, Stacey.
Okay, wait. So I think I have another one. How do you get your friends and family to see the value of the power of associations? I think we kind of covered that, but you know, well, I don't know. Maybe we want to answer that. Like, how do you get those people to see that the people that you're surrounding yourself with are lifting you up, right? Why you're hanging out with certain people?
So my number one answer to that is that I be that person around them. I'm the example for them. Yeah. I rather than falling into, you know, it's funny, Russ and I were having this conversation in the car on the way here. People have challenges. It's a real thing. Everybody has challenges. Everyone has their problems. And most people cannot remove themselves from their problems, if that makes sense. Yeah. And so what happens is everyone around them becomes the target of their problems. And they don't mean it. But when you understand that, when you understand that, you don't take it personally and you don't let it impinge on you and let it land on you, right? And wear it. Does that make sense?
Good. Yeah.
So the best,
you guys are getting this is gold.
So the best way that you can show the power of influence is to be that influence for them. Yes. Not let their problems impinge on you. Remain positive yourself, right? And not buy into their yucky stuff, for a lack of better terms. You know?
I got you. I think that's good. Yeah. Definitely. I have one more. Stacey, does staying positive have something to do with the power of associations?
I think so. I think it's just the way you know, and I don't know who to give this credit to, but I heard somebody say this once, and it always just sticks with me. E plus R equals O. The event plus your response equals the outcome. And I don't know, maybe some of you guys know who has said that, but it's not me. I don't take credit for it. Somebody else. But it's so powerful because our response to the situation is what determines the outcome. It's not the situation itself. And when you understand that, then it's kind of like you can operate. But when you have powerful, associations around you, they don't let you, they're gonna if I said something to Gillian and I got too caught up in my problem, she'd call me out on it right away. Like, what? Like, you're not getting caught, what?
Yeah.
Like,
let's
she would
focus
just
on where we're going.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, half the people that we associate with Michael Coleman or Jamie, anyway, they would look at me like literally like, what? Like, like that's so, it's so little. Like, why would you even waste your time with that?
Yeah.
And so, yes, associations do make a big difference about staying positive because you know you're not gonna like fall down.
Yeah, and you
get
expect them to call you on it. You want people who are going to check you and say, nope, you need to let that go. Let that be in your rearview mirror and focus on X, Y, Z.
Yes.
So it's really important for your associations to help keep you positive. And I really hope that you're getting your associations and you're gathering the people that make you feel good. That when you leave them, you're like, I feel awesome. I want to take on the world. I want to do X, Y, Z. I want to go have a great life. Like any of that stuff. If you're around people that after you leave them, you're drained, you're feeling sad, you're like down, those are probably not the people that you need to hang around. Yeah. You need to, maybe talk to somebody who is the opposite and help you figure out how to be around more people that lift you up.
Yes.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Was that an earthquake? I kind of felt like that for a second.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounded like it.
But we're still live, so we're good. Okay. So I think we're done. I mean, I wanted to stop. I know that we had a lot of questions today. I hope you had a great time.
I had so much fun. Thank you guys so much for having me, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate all of you, and this is so amazing.
I'm really grateful. So we've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm glad that we finally did. And Jessica and Russ are amazing people. We adore them, and we're on our way to do incredible things this year and next and beyond. Yes. So I'm grateful to you guys. And
can I share one quick thing? I want to share one quick thing because this is the power of associations that believe in your dreams. We used to sit when we had nothing, by the way, like nothing, life falling apart. And we used to sit on the balcony and write our goals and dreams together. And we used to talk about where we were going. And that's the power of an association when you're surrounded with people, rather, that fertilize and water you as opposed to starve you and basically tell you how it's unrealistic and all those things. That's the power of moving forward when you have people around you that are telling you, oh, absolutely, you can do it. You can make that happen. And I'm excited to be on the journey with you. And then you start to see those things manifest, and then you see it for each other. There's nothing more incredible than being able to experience that with someone. So thank you for being part of that journey with us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I love you guys. You're awesome.
Yes, love you too.
So you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Please share this video with somebody who needs some positivity in their life, because if you're going to be that beacon of light, you're going to be that powerful and positive association for them. They may come to you another day when they need something and they need more help in some way. So we appreciate you guys. I just want to tell you that it's GGinspire here today, and just be inspired for a great life. Okay? Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
See you soon. Okay, we'll end